on my way.
Hey, it's Camo. Welcome to Nashville Meets World, presented by Solis North Gulch Apartments. Live where taste matters. Once again, I get to hold up stuff, which is like my favorite thing in the world. This is the brand new album by Darin and Brooke Aldridge. It's called Inner Journey, and as with every other album that these two do, it's killer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. We're glad to be back always.
Oh, you guys, everything to me, to kind of steal Marty Stewart's thing, there aren't enough fabulous superlatives to describe you two. I literally am blown away and look forward to every album that comes out from you guys, and that's rare for me now. You know, it's so I'm just thrilled to have you on the show.
Thank you.
You just came off 2 nights at the Opry.
We did, yeah.
And speaking of blowing people away, the band stood up for you guys.
Yeah, they're awful nice to us. We love being part of that over there at the Opry, and especially the country classic show. It's fun for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody we talk to backstage, all the staff and the band members and
The crowd gets involved.
folks. It's like it's their favorite show they do every week.
Yeah.
And we've got to do it. This is our 4th time, I think, doing the country classics. So it's always fun.
And you never know what's going to happen with Gatlin.
That's
No,
right.
he's great.
I think that's why he's got that role.
He keeps the crowd riveted.
He doesn't really have much of an edit button.
Yeah.
He kind of says whatever he thinks.
You're right. Yeah, it's great.
Is it, coming up, is it kind of a thrill to be working with these legends? I mean, you work a lot with Vince Gill. All these legends of music that you looked up to coming up, and now you're working with them on a regular basis. Do you have to pinch yourself sometimes?
Sure we do. I mean, that's a dream of ours, and we get to live it out every day. So we're blessed for it.
A couple times back when we played the Opry one night, we were driving back to North Carolina, and Darin and I both got to talking about just all that we've gotten to do in our music career, and how, you know, with each record we felt like our music and our career has grown. And you know, just to sit and think about all the goals that we had when we started, and where we've gotten now, and the people we've gotten to play with, it's so surreal, and it's emotional too. If we really dig deep in it.
Because we both grew up listening to all the folks that we get to interact with now, perform with, and sing with. It's mighty good.
Yeah.
Have you surpassed all the goals that you set when you started?
I don't
No,
think
I
so.
think we've got more. Keep setting them.
Yeah.
Keep reaching as much as you can.
Yeah.
And as artists, I think we grow and continue to grow as much as possible.
Not just musically, but as people, you can't help but grow as these cool things happen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. Now, you were just voted Female Vocalist of the Year by the IDMA. Bluegrass, is it?
Or third?
For the 3rd time. That's rare.
It is. Once again, it's just an honor, you know. I never thought I would win it one time, much less 2 and then 3, of course. So I mean, it's and to be in the category with the ladies that I was in the category with each year is just, you know, that's an honor as well, because they're amazing in their own right.
Now, who all were you nominated with this time around?
This year it was Dylan Bradley, Rhonda Vincent, Molly Tuttle, Sierra Hull, and me. So there's 5 of us, yeah.
Well, that's, for the bluegrass world, those are heavy hitters.
Absolutely.
Especially Rhonda, because she's crossed over
She has, yeah.
a few
She's
different
incredible.
genres. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us about the new album. This just looks spectacular, and I can't wait to pop it in.
Well, we just feel like this album has really kind of defines us. It's brought us, you know, it's kind of, I guess, our sound of.
Just matured over the years and what songs we might pick. There's a few old classics that we enjoyed listening to, and then there's some new songwriters that we started loving, and we wanted to include those records. Gretchen Peters, we've always liked a couple of her songs.
Right.
We kept one of them. Brian Adams, Nancy Griffith,
Wow.
Richard Thompson.
That's
on and on. Yeah.
And you're not just pulling from, you know, the kind of the bluegrass genre of writers. I mean, Richard Thompson and Brian Adams are not people you
Yeah.
would think would suit a bluegrass style of
Sure.
music.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, you know, Brooke wrote one on here as well, but speaking of those folks, it's what we grew up listening to that we loved. And I think if you look back to the 60s and 70s, you know, with bluegrass classics like the Country Gentleman, Pulley Bob Dylan tunes, and Earl Scruggs Review, and Platinum Scruggs, you know, they reached out and got a lot of other genres of music and created them on their style.
And the bluegrass style in that time was taken in by the folk genre. So you had a lot of folk bands using banjo and fiddle and traditional bluegrass instruments. So it's always been that crossover, I guess.
Right.
Absolutely.
Now, the last time we spoke, you were on your way to Ireland.
Mm-hmm.
How did that go?
It was great.
They welcomed us with open arms, and you know, I've always heard that the Irish people are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet, and I believe it now. So
They have to be, because you can't go to Ireland for the weather.
That's
So you gotta go for the people.
we actually had really good weather while we were there.
Really?
It
Yeah.
rained but one day.
It was chilly, but I mean, the weather was
perfect.
it was sunny. It was green. You could see all the different
Yeah.
greens. You know, it was just gorgeous.
How did the audience receive you, or audiences receive you?
Very well. Yeah.
It was very good. Sold a lot of product while we was there, and we performed 3 times.
Mhm.
And we was one of the headliners for the festival that was going on, so it was a great crowd.
Yeah, they have the Trad Fest
Mm-hmm.
in March, I think, which is all the traditional Celtic and Irish music. So there's tons of fiddle and all that kind of stuff going on.
Oh yeah.
Big festival. But they just love what you're doing.
Yeah. We got to go to Prague. I guess the same year.
Back in
February of the
February,
same year. So, and they opened their
it's
arms
very
as
good.
well, and we're excited to have us.
Is that when you go to a place, especially someplace like Prague? I know with country music in places like Sweden and Denmark and Norway and some of those Nordic states, it's almost viewed as kind of a private club that we're country music listeners and we don't let anybody in without vetting them properly. Is that kind of the same way with bluegrass in a place like Prague?
The Czech Republic was, they said, had the biggest bluegrass community, one of them in Europe.
Wow.
Yeah, they've got a ton of folks that build instruments, banjos and mandolins over there. I mean, their banjo building is some of the best around. And a lot of folks from the States get parts from them over there a lot, you know, and independent builders. And it's, they've got a thriving community of bluegrassers.
Wow. I didn't know that at all. That's something nobody would probably guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did 3 shows, and I think we was planning to do 2, and they both sold out, and they added a 3rd.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's got to make you feel good that you're taking a very traditional American sound and taking it around the world.
Yeah.
Just wish we could do it more often.
That's right. It just goes to show that music really is a universal language, no matter where you go.
It always seems to come back to that when I speak to artists, because we have artists from so many different places around the world, and it's when music is being done, that's the language, and it doesn't matter who's got what politics or anything else. It's just, oh, he plays guitar, and I like his stuff, or he plays fiddle or vocalist, and that's a really neat thing. And especially for independent artists, they seem to be the ones that are working the hardest to take the music around the world.
Absolutely.
You want to do a song, and then we'll talk some more?
Speaking around the world, this one came from the other side of the world, from Miss Casey Chambers.
Wow.
And we've had, loved her music, loved her write, and we've recorded a couple of her tunes in the past with Sweetest Waste of Time and Wildflower. This is one we came across called This Flower.
Well, this flower is my soul. It's not half of what I own. I should give you every rose that ever grew. But take this one here for a start, and you can keep it in your heart. I have everything I need because of you. Well, if my life is long enough to pack up everything I love, I would do just that and give it all to you. But it's impossible to pay all the things you gave away. So this flower I give will have to do. Well, this flower is my soul. It's not half of what I own. I should give you every rose that ever grew. But take this one here for a start, and you can keep it in your heart. I have everything I need because of you. All the flowers growing wild for 10,000 lonely miles is not near enough to give you what I should. So I will owe you for a while, maybe longer than my time. I would give you all the world if I could. Well, this flower is my soul. It's not half of what I own. I should give you every rose that ever grew. But take this one here for a start, and you can keep it in your heart. I have everything I need because of you. I have everything I need because of you.
Wow. Your vocals just blow me away every time.
Thank you.
And
She'll fill up a room.
yeah, she will. No wonder you would after the third time. Wow. It's always special having you guys play right beside me.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I understand how crowds around the world get it too, even if they're not normally bluegrass fans. Wow. It's very rare that a guest just takes my breath away. Yeah, you guys do that. Pardon my gushing. Your performances and your song choices are always really honest. And that's one thing that I think has been consistent through all of your albums. Is
Well, that's
that
a very good way to put it, man. Not many have ever really said that. But that's what we set out and tried to do and to be. So I appreciate you saying that.
how do you, when you're doing song selection, how do you determine what makes the cut?
I really go off the feel of the song and how it makes me feel the first time I hear it, and I try to relate that maybe to an audience listening and how it sparks that emotion. And a good song should do that.
So you figure if you're feeling that emotion, then it's going to translate.
I hope so. So yeah.
Yeah, it's working.
Thank you.
Man, I'm very seldom lost for words. So what went into this album? What made you choose songs by people like Brian Adams and Richard Thompson and people like that?
Well, I guess just like Darin was saying, we heard songs that our parents would play on vinyl and stuff when we were kids. A lot of
Of some of
which
the
we put
artists.
on here, yeah. But then again, it's just pulling from some of our favorite songwriters and, you know, how they're
See what fits us. I mean, the Brian Adams tune, Gretchen Peters, was in the movie Hope Floats.
Yeah.
And it would scroll. We both liked that movie. We've watched it. And we'd hear that tune at the end of that as the credits roll. It's like, you know, we ought to work up that song. It's a popular song, but I don't know that they ever had it as a single, you know.
Yeah.
It just kind of went along with the soundtrack, and we got to working it up and playing it for folks. And then we done it on Country Family Reunion show that Bill Anderson hosts, and he had never heard the song before, but he asked the same question: where'd you come across a song like that? And coming from Bill, he said, that's just written perfectly for y'all too.
Wow.
And so we might have done something right by picking that one. Bill said that.
Yeah. Do you ever find when you, in your song selection, that some songs work better for a live audience than they do?
Yeah.
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 There's a few that we do that we might not ever record, but they work really good in a live set.
Or some that we maybe put on a record that we might not do in a live setting, of course, too.
Yeah.
You know,
Got a
that
few
might
of
just
those.
you hear on radio maybe or otherwise, so just to fill up the record too. But it's usually, it's funny, we hear a lot of DJs say, man, it's hard picking which songs to play because you guys always do such a good job of picking stuff. So.
Yeah, because it's not so much a singles kind of thing. You put the album out and let people play what they want to play.
Sure.
Do you ever have songs on there that you think, if we're going to do a single release, this is the one we want to do?
We're always wrong about that.
We are. I was just going to say
Everybody say, everybody's got their different opinions, you know, and then it just all of a sudden comes together and the ones that get most played. You know, a few albums back with Snapshots, we recorded a lot of great tunes on that one that we loved, and we'd never picked Flat Top Box to be the radio single, you know.
You have picked a couple of songs that have been big songs. Flat Top Box, of course, Roseanne did the cover of her father's song, and Four Strong Winds. And in both cases, you got endorsement from the artists that made those songs huge hits.
Yeah. And Someday Soon was a great one that we did. We thought it might go pretty well. It never been covered in a bluegrass way.
Yeah.
When we first picked that song, guys down from Nitty Gritty Dirt Band fell in love with it when we done it with John Calvin. And it just, you know, fit Brooke perfectly. And where she sang it, everybody said that, you know. Now you go on the song and become a number one for us. And everywhere we go now, we sing.
That song's made a lot of money for Ian Tyson.
Yes,
It's been covered so many times.
Yeah.
And I think he bought his ranch in Alberta based on the Neil Young cover of that.
Wow.
Yeah. Or no, it wasn't that song. It was in
Well, he probably got a couple bales of hay.
Yeah. How has the streaming side of the business affected you? Are you still selling more physical product?
Well, I think it's really coming along. You know, it's catching up with the physical sales of it now. We enjoy Spotify, and iTunes, and Pandora, and everything else. We get the stats from our record company a lot, and it's really been growing over the last couple of years. So we're thankful for that.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. You want to do another song for us?
Yeah, man. We'll do the Brian Adams tune. And you can see what you think.
When you love someone, you'll do anything. You'll do all the crazy things that you can't explain. You shoot the moon, put out the sun. When you love someone, you'll deny the truth, believe a lie. There'll be times that you'll believe that you could really fly, but your lonely nights have just begun. When you love someone, When you love someone, you feel it deep inside, and nothing else could ever change your mind. When you want someone, when you need someone, when you love someone. When you love someone, you sacrifice, giving everything you got, and you won't think twice. You'd risk it all, no matter what may come. When you love someone, yeah, you shoot the moon, put out the sun. When you love someone.
Darin and Brooke Aldridge with "You Love Someone." That's listening to it and remembering the Bryan Adams version of it. It's like you've taken that song and made it yours. It's personal and it's.
Thank you.
Um,
Describes everything that love is.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
great song. Like you said, we try to do that with most everything that we want to cover or enjoy by the writer.
How do writers feel? Writers that you know, how do they feel when they see and hear your interpretations of their music?
Well, actually, on that particular song, I was scrolling through Twitter one day, and Gretchen had complimented our version, and
Wow.
yeah, she put up a tweet about it, and I was like,
So
whoa,
it made us feel really, really good
yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
I love to hear what Brian said too.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hard guy to catch up with, I think. Wow. That song just seems to encapsulate what you two are all about.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's perfect. Like Bill said, it was just kind of written for the two of you.
Yeah.
And so we'll hold on to that one a long time.
That really is magic when you can take something that somebody's written years ago that just drops in your lap. And
Yeah, it's
you
probably 25
Yeah.
at least years old,
Yeah.
or maybe 30.
Yeah.
That song, right?
Yes, at least, yeah. Because that was in the 90s, yeah. It came out 25 years. But it just seems that defines like the timeless songs when they can be written so many years ago for so many different reasons, and then you or any other artist today takes hold of it and just makes it relevant and cool.
Sure. Yeah. It always gets a good response at the Opry too.
Sure,
so.
we've done it a bunch, and it speaks to like you said, any age group, and to new people coming along that's never seen the movie or heard the song, and hear our version of it. That's what we want.
Nice. Speaking of the Opry, how many times have you played it now?
I think last night was 17 or 18 times.
Does it ever get old?
We've been,
Yeah.
I've been a guest, there before playing with a couple other artists, and that was, we went out the first time with John Darin,
Yeah.
and we went out with Vance and sang a few tunes with him, and
John Callan, when we debuted.
we debuted with John Callan, and then we performed also one night with John Jordanson.
Mhm.
Wow.
So
From Dead Rose Band.
Yeah.
So from just Brooke and I think it was 17 times.
Nice. And the audiences just love you.
That's those folks is the audience that we play to, and we enjoy that a whole lot. Everything about the Opry from family and what me and Brooke want to represent, it's a perfect fit, we think.
Do you, when you're performing, is the music you communicate is very personal to you, but are you communicating with the audiences with that? Are they picking up what you're saying, and giving it back to you? Because music is always a conversation.
Sure. I feel that. I wrote an original on this album actually. It's called Someone's Everything. And I talk about the story of how I wrote it, of course, before we usually play it. And a teacher of mine that I had in high school actually inspired this song because she was sending out advice to her son who was fixing to graduate college. And I was scrolling through Facebook one day and saw this post that she put up. And I always read her stuff because she always gave such good advice. And so she was just telling him, you know, no matter what in life, and with the kids, what kind of day you're having, what kind of day they're having, just remember that you're someone's everything. And I thought, that's a really cool song title. So sat down and wrote it. And when I explain that in audiences, like 2 audiences, you wouldn't believe how many people come up and say, you know, I'm a teacher. Or, or we have children in that song. I just sat there and cried when you sang that song, you know. So yeah, stuff like that. And I think when you can tell the story behind it, really resonates with people.
Does it, when people do that, does that give you a sense of how important what you do can be?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if you can impact somebody's life in some way, not even necessarily through music, but I mean, just by the words you say when you're on stage, or you know, when you're meeting them at the merch table, you know, just to give them a positive, I feel like, interaction, and just to let them know that they're cared for. You know, I think people want that, and I think they can get that through musicians' music. So.
That's great. And this album, please check it out. Darin and Brooke Aldridge, Inner Journey. Can I ask you to do one more song?
Sure.
Yeah, sweet. What do you want to do, Bruce? You do your song, you got something else?
Let me look. Yeah, we can do mine. It's fine.
So she was talking about it.
Yeah. So this one's called Someone's Everything.
Looking back, she still remembers the day she held her in her arms, so proud to finally be a mother. She knew her baby'd be grown for too long. And when they went to bed, they bowed their heads to pray, instilling in her daughter the words her mom would say. Always remember, you were someone's everything, just like you were mine, and always will be. No matter what this life may bring, always remember you are someone's everything. She packed her room and left for college, the day she dreamed of for so long. Set out to find a new adventure, wanting to make it on her own. She had her whole life to get ready for this day. As she headed out the door, she heard her mama say, always remember, you were someone's everything, just like you were mine, and always will be. No matter what this life may bring, always remember you are someone's everything. And as the years passed by, she went on to do great things. Her mama's words
Oh, man.
Thank you.
When you are doing song selection and you're picking songs from great writers, and then you're putting in an original, or several originals, do you ever feel pressure that you've got to write something that's going to be as good as what these guys are?
Absolutely.
Is it scary?
Yeah, I didn't even plan on putting this song on an album.
I pushed her.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I was like, I gotta put that on this, so, and it fit, you know, we usually try to do like a theme with each album
Sure,
that we
yeah.
have, so we felt like it fit with the rest of the songs.
It's just such a good story that she brought it to me after reading that on Facebook and coming up with the lyrics and had me help her put a melody to it, you know, and some of the chords, and it was just such a good song, and we just played it for family and friends to start with, and everybody's reaction was so big, you know, we knew it was going to make it.
Good choice.
Thank you.
Yeah, good for pushing it. It's time to play Asked and Answered. We have our viewers around the world sending questions,
Okay.
and that's why we have the ugly cookie jar. So I'm going to ask you, I'm just going to mix things up here.
Okay.
I'm going to ask you to reach in and just pull out a question and read it.
Okay. What do record labels do? Steve Goody from Nashville, Tennessee.
He's from Nashville, yeah, I know.
What?
You like that one, didn't you? We're with Rounder Records now, and I think Rounders has been in the business a whole long time. They've had such great artists, especially in the bluegrass world, and they did folk and indie music and forever, and just been a leading label, you know, forever, and had artists like Alison Krauss and Tony Rice and Jerry Douglas, and there's so many like that, you know, and we're very honored to be on that label now with a lot of those type of folks. And, you know, getting our music out there to a bigger audience, they're distributing their business ethic, the way they record and master a product, putting songs together. I mean, we had more tunes that they helped us get involved with and see that we might not have thought of at one time. I mean, we picked probably 85% of the tunes on the record, and Ken Irwin pitched us probably 200 songs, and that we might have picked 3 or 4 from, but we had so many in the can that we can, and his ear and what he wanted to get us out to represent was so huge, you know. And they care so much about that,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
take that much time just for that other 15 or 20%, you know. And I'd say, you know, that heart about what they're putting out and the stamp that they want to do underground records. So that's what a record company does.
Nice. Is it almost a mentoring thing when it comes to that?
Especially for younger artists such as Brooke and I, we've just been in the business together going on maybe 11, 12 years. And I think just now we're coming into our own.
I think so too. I think the last album was the last step to that, and now you're there, to me anyway. But it's been an incredible journey watching you guys.
Thank you very much. It's been a fun journey, so
absolutely.
we're very blessed.
And lots more to come.
Thank you.
Okay, final question. Let me take the question from you and put it back so somebody else doesn't
Okay.
You're heading out on your first major headlining tour worldwide. Who do you take out as support?
In our band, you mean?
No, who's going to open for you?
Oh.
Oh, well, there's a lot of different folks, you know, we're doing a lot of different festivals, and so there's several acts that's on there, like the Country Family Reunion show that we did, Larry's Country Diner. We had a great group from North Carolina that's very, you know, co-op with us, I guess, the Malpass Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
And what they do, and it matches very well, so we're hooking up with them on a few shows this year, and but just for that perfect opener, we haven't really come up with anybody just yet to fit in, but like we do a lot of shows with Jimmy Fortune, and we're putting some packages together with that, and our music very well goes together. And we'll play a set, Jimmy will do a set, and then we'll combine. And it's very good for that. Still doing a few shows with old John Callan as well.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you.
It's
I'm
always
sure
a happy-
always.
It's
yeah.
always a blast having you. You can come back anytime.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Seriously. The album is Inner Journey, Darin and Brooke Aldridge. I guarantee you, you will be blown away by this album, just like any other album. So go back and if you haven't heard of them, get this album and discover the other stuff too. Thanks for watching Nashville Meets World. Thank you again for being here.
Our pleasure.
People can connect with you on socials.
We've got Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and you can also go to darinandbrookealdridge.com and also check out YouTube.
Excellent. Thanks for watching Nashville Meets World. Catch me on Chris Country all across the UK every Sunday at midday, following Bobby Bones, and on 88.9 Tamworth FM in Tamworth, New South Wales, Australia, with Jody Crosby and John Wolfe every Thursday morning about 9:30. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
On my way, you deny the truth.